What if I told you the whole story begins not with a legal filing or a scandalous allegation, but with a 90-minute Christmas heart-to-heart between Justin and his father? That's right. On the surface, it sounded like a warm holiday moment, the kind of conversation two family members might have in the glow of Christmas lights. But when someone mentions that this meeting excluded baby love, eyes start to narrow and eyebrows start to rise. People began to question, why would you sit and talk for an hour and a half without someone who clearly mattered being there? The narrator sets the tone with a sense of disbelief because this wasn't just any discussion, it was a private conversation between father and son just days before news broke that both had been served in a lawsuit that had been quietly pending for years. Viewers are pulled in by the contradiction, the warmth of the holiday meeting clashing with the dark context that would emerge later. And that contradiction becomes the spark that lights the fire for everything that follows.
Once the idea of that Christmas meeting got out, social media had a field day. Suddenly, everyone had an opinion about why Justin and his father would meet for 90 minutes. Some said it was about family healing. Others hinted at something deeper, something hush-hush that couldn't be shared with the world yet. The narrator leans into the chaos of online speculation, talking about how rumors spread like wildfire and how quickly public perception can shift when people smell controversy. There are comparisons to past celebrity situations, whispers about how Diddy has handled trouble before, and the general feeling that whatever was discussed wasn't just small talk. For the viewer, there's an increasing sense of something hidden, something serious lurking beneath what sounded like a simple father-son conversation. Social media reactions feed the narrative, giving a human context to the intrigue and making viewers wonder if the truth is stranger than the rumors themselves.
Then came the moment that flipped everything. The lawsuit documents finally surfaced. According to what was shared online, this wasn't a new complaint filed this year, but one that had been filed years ago and allegedly slipped under the radar while other big legal battles were happening. Suddenly, the quiet, mysterious Christmas meeting didn't seem so innocent anymore. Viewers hear how the lawsuit was filed in Los Angeles court back in June of 2005. Yes, long before most people even knew there was a problem, and it only just now started being served to the people named in it. The narrator emphasizes the confusion and surprise. Why did it take so long for service to happen? What took so long to bring these documents to the attention of the public? And perhaps most importantly, why now? As the details begin to unwrap, the audience is pulled deeper into the mystery, encouraged to think about timing, legality, and the strange path this lawsuit took to finally see the light of day.
Now things take a darker turn. According to the lawsuit's claims, the alleged incident involved a young woman who was said to have been brought from Louisiana to Los Angeles under the promise of a job and industry connections. The narrator carefully outlines the allegations, using YouTube-safe language to relay how the lawsuit describes her being taken to a property in Beverly Hills and an ordeal that reportedly transpired over a weekend. These claims, as detailed in the complaint, were shocking to many, and the narrator does not shy away from conveying how intense and disturbing the accusations sound. The narrative voices the disbelief and shock many viewers might feel, acknowledging that some parts seemed far-fetched to outsiders at first. But as more details are read, including mention of masked individuals and alleged misuse of influence, the scene grows more unsettling. This portion maintains a serious tone, making sure the audience understands the gravity of what's being alleged, without sensationalizing in a way that would violate platform safety rules. Beyond the alleged weekend incident, the lawsuit also includes claims about the way power and influence were supposedly used. The narrator breaks down how the woman alleged that she was lured with the promise of opportunity through a famous connection, something that can immediately resonate with viewers familiar with Hollywood dreams and dangers. She wasn't someone without education or ambition. She was described as accomplished and holding a degree, which makes the allegations feel more real and harder to dismiss outright. In this section, the narrator slowly builds a picture of how the alleged dynamics of power imbalance could have played out, talking about manipulation, unmet promises, and the emotional weight that accompanies them. There is an air of tension and discomfort as viewers are encouraged to consider the implications of such allegations, both legally and socially, and to think critically about how influence can be perceived or misused in worlds driven by celebrity and access.
No major legal storm is complete without a response, and here we shift to what Justin and his father's legal representation had to say. The narrator shares, in a voice that matches the rest of the story's measured but gripping tone, how the legal team put out a statement denying the allegations. They pointed out that anyone can file a lawsuit for many reasons, and that a filing does not equal guilt. The narrator emphasizes how calculated and predictable such statements can sound, crafted to protect reputation and mitigate backlash. But for the viewer, this denial becomes another piece of the puzzle. Is it a standard legal defense, or is something deeper at play? The audience is left to grapple with the tension between legal strategy and public perception. This section highlights how denial doesn't necessarily put rumors to rest, especially when social media and online commentary are already on fire. It adds a layer of complexity to the story, pushing the viewer to think about truth, denial, and the blurred lines in between.
Let's circle back to that Christmas meeting, because now it starts to look a little less innocent. The narrator revisits the 90-minute conversation with fresh eyes, framing it against the backdrop of the lawsuit. What were they really talking about? Could it have been strategy? Panic? Damage control? Viewers are led through the possibilities, with the narrator pointing out that if this meeting were truly just a heart-to-heart, why announce it publicly at all? Why let people know that for an hour and a half, father and son sat alone and talked? The narrative leans into speculation, but in a way that makes viewers think rather than accept any conclusion outright. It's this kind of tension, that space between what we're told and what we're led to believe, that keeps audiences engaged. By the end of this point, viewers should be asking themselves, what really went on in that room? And was it personal, or was it preparation for what was about to hit public view? Finally, the narrator wraps it all up by stepping back and looking at the broader implications. This isn't just a story about a lawsuit or a weird holiday meeting. It's a story about power, perception, and the unpredictable way allegations can surface years after the fact. The narrator challenges the viewer to think about how we interpret claims, how we react to denial, and how much we really know about what happens behind closed doors in celebrity circles. There's a call to reflection. Is timing everything? Does the lateness of the lawsuit service change how we see it? And how does social media influence our understanding of truth when everyone's voice is amplified? This final point doesn't spoon-feed a conclusion. Instead, it leaves viewers with questions that linger after the video ends. By the time this section finishes, the story feels complete yet open, exactly the kind that sparks comments, engagement, and debate long after the screen goes dark.